Welcome. That's the New York Philharmonic that you heard in our opening. We are here at the McKnight Center Opening Gala, an orange carpet affair. We're calling it that, of course, because we've got VIPs from across the state and here at the university, and we love the color orange. So anytime we can get that in there, we absolutely will. You can see behind me that people are starting to arrive, and we are so excited because the New York Philharmonic will be performing in Oklahoma for the first time in over 30 years. They performed in Tulsa in 1983. And now they're here in Stillwater today. So a lot of exciting things are ahead. Broadway star Kelly O'Hara is here. We spoke with her earlier today as well. And we're going to start by taking a look back at what got us to this magical event.
This will be about a $60 million facility, just a little less. And it'll be located on University Street, just south of the Bennett Chapel and the Alumni Association. And it'll be a hall that will accommodate a lot of different kinds of performances. We are so appreciative of what you all are doing, that we are announcing at this time that the name of the new Performing Arts Center will be the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts.
We seek to create meaningful, shared, creative experiences and impactful learning opportunities and endeavor to erase as many barriers to participation as possible.
And of course, this night would not have been possible without the vision of President Burns Hargis and the first cowgirl, Ann Hargis. When I sat down and spoke with them earlier this month, they told me that they were so impressed by the talent of the music students here on campus when they first got here, but they wanted to be able to give them more, to give them a place to learn and to grow, and they've done just that. So we'll take a look at that interview, and you may even see President Hargis playing the piano as well.
The Cowboy family has really stepped up. They've caught the vision and they've made it a reality.
The arts are a huge part of wellness, so I think it just will perpetuate itself and grow to be even bigger and grander things.
And so tell me a little bit about this thought process. How did this start and why do we need the McKnight Center here on campus?
Well, when Ann and I got here almost 12 years ago, we were actually just stunned at the quality of our arts programs here. But we were equally stunned at the lack of quality of facilities. The Saratine Center has served OSU for many, many years, but needs a lot of work. I just felt like with the quality of the programs that we have, and even though there's not all that many music majors, there's over 2,000 students that actually participate in music, whether it's band or choral or jazz or the orchestra or whatever. And they come from all over the school. So I thought we needed a kind of showplace for both OSU and Stillwater. That was where it all started.
So in that process, after it was an idea, what was the most difficult part to get this to become a reality?
To get the money.
And I think to have others appreciate the vision and actually see it and want it to happen as well.
Yeah, I mean, we really went round and roundabout trying to figure out how to make it happen, because it's a big project. Thanks to Ross and Billie McKnight, they came up with this idea of developing or funding a huge programming endowment. He thought if we put together a big endowment that could fund programming, then this would not only do what I was dreaming of for our students, but it would also do so much for the students, to be sure, but the community and even this region, by bringing in top performers in lots of genres. And those people would work with our students and our faculty, and so it was a huge win-win.
It is actually progress working with students, and so any act that comes through, we'll be able to work with our students. That's part of the mission. This guy plays the piano all the time at home. It's an outlet for him, and I can tell what kind of a day he's had by the way he plays. If he's upbeat, he's had a happy day. He can be melancholy, and I don't even know that he knows that I can sense the kind of day he's had through the piano.
So I started out, my parents put me in classical piano lessons, and honestly, I really didn't like it, didn't want to do it, and it was just a real point of tension in our family. I actually had piano lessons from the woman who taught Fats Domino how to play piano. So that set me on, and then played in bands and all that stuff. But for me to sit down at a Steinway is like a Labrador sitting down at a filet mignon. It's ridiculous. So I want our students, when they graduate from here, to have seen the best and know what the best is. We think this place will go a long way in making that happen. We're going to be on the map, and I think we'll be attracting students who want to be exposed to these kinds of performers. I mean, it's just not everybody gets to work with the first violinist of the New York Philharmonic.
When we come back, we'll take you inside the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts and give you a tour of the state-of-the-art facility. You're watching an Orange Carpet Affair.
We are very excited to be in this new home for the Spears School of Business. When we were designing the building, we really wanted to make sure we had a lot of collaborative, engaging spaces. So it really was built to encourage a more modern, progressive way to educate people and to better prepare our students for the life they're going to live outside once they graduate. It is a place that really matches the caliber of the human beings inside of it. We're very proud of the quality of our students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and to have a home and a place that showcases their abilities, their skills, and helps them develop more fully and more completely for the modern world is extremely exciting.
We are living our passion.
We are building our future.
We are shaping the next generation. We are learning to reach new heights.
We are shaping young minds.
We are focusing on tomorrow.
We are keeping you healthy.
We are looking forward to the future.
We are cowboys.
We are cowboys.
We are cowboys.
We are cowboys.
Well, you now know a little bit of the planning process that went into the McKnight Performing Arts Center. And just as every note in a piece of music is important, every detail that went into this actual building is also important. So we're going to give you a little behind the scenes tour. We got a look before opening night, and I'm speaking with Mark Blakeman. He is the Marilyn and Carl Thoma Executive Director of the McKnight Center. And so the exciting parts of this building actually start right here, outside.
This is perhaps the most unique element to the McKnight Center. This is our outdoor plaza, and what we're able to do with this 32-foot LED screen and robotic cameras inside the facility is share performances in real time with another audience outside. So we think of this as our third performance space in a way. And in addition to the screen, you get the same immersive sound experience out here that you do inside the McKnight Center. The fact that this was part of the original concept really says a lot about the visionary people behind the center and their intent to really engage people in a very broad way.
Okay, so this is the inside of the McKnight Center.
This is it. We're actually coming in on the west side of the building. This is the Betty and Bob Kearns lobby, and it's adjacent to our outdoor plaza space. And these giant windows are actually sliding glass doors.
Okay.
So we have these enormous openings that we can create to be able to move a lot of people from the outside space into the interior and so forth. One of the things that I wanted to share, we spent some time talking with our design architects about what inspired them, what were the influences that kind of created the main aesthetic for the McKnight Center. And there's this theme that's carried out throughout the design, which is about forward momentum. And so you notice these giant curved walls, and these curved spaces are actually leading you into the performance areas.
Okay, yeah, I see them in the floor.
You see it played out on the tile. You see it actually in the chandelier of our patron lounge upstairs. And if you look at the aisles in the performance hall, they're actually curved. There's no straight lines. And it's all moving toward the stage area, which I really love.
Well, let's go see it.
Yeah. This is the large theater here at the McKnight Center. We have 1,098 seats. Large is kind of relative, I would say, because a lot of performing arts centers have 2,000 to 3,000. And so it's really a very special space because the combination of world-class artists in such an intimate environment. And I think that we can provide an experience to people that they can't get in a lot of other places. And we use technology to enhance the experience of our listeners and our viewers. We have these large LED screens that flank the stage. We can use those for a variety of different reasons, but one is that we use robotic cameras here in the performance hall, and we can show close-ups of our performers on the screens. So we can give everybody kind of a bird's eye view regardless of where they're seated inside the hall. So it's a wonderful feature. And this space technically is an opera house. We have an orchestra pit, so we can accommodate touring Broadway, operas, dance companies that have live orchestras. And the stage has a sprung deck so that for dance companies that's got some give to it. So this is our recital hall. It's really a special space here at the McKnight Center. Our intimate 217 seat space, acoustically perfected primarily for the performance of music. And this is a space that will be heavily utilized by the students at OSU for junior recitals, senior recitals. I know there will be faculty recitals in here. We're doing McKnight Center performances in here as well. And it's just a really, really incredible space. Acoustically, you know, again, this whole sense of being immersed in great sound. And you see all this heavy articulation on the sidewalls. That's to get the sound to reflect around the room, so when you sit in a seat, you're actually hearing it coming from all directions.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this tour. There's so many fun details to see, and I hope that everybody is able to get tickets and come see it for themselves.
It's crazy to think this state-of-the-art building all started with an idea and a sketch. We spoke with the Beck Design architects and one of the acousticians with Kierkegaard Associates to find out how they created the McKnight Center.
So the building was designed with about a team of about 12 or 13 design consultants from across the country. And as project manager, you try to get all that work to come together so that everything is coordinated, so that when the drawings are finished, all the systems talk to each other and everything works together.
So basically we're designing these spaces from the inside out and around all the acoustics. So the performers, that's how they'll measure the success of the building. Yes, it has to look good, but if the acoustics don't work inside, the hall's a failure. And so all the preliminary reports from the acousticians and the theater people is that the acoustics are just nearly perfect.
One of the details that makes this possible is called box-in-box construction. It keeps any extra noise out of the performance hall.
So we'll build a shell, or like a concrete shell box,
And then we build basically a space or a building inside of that. So it's a building inside the building, and what we're building inside basically floats within that shell. Now you're building almost two buildings, one inside of another.
Well, it really enhances the sound of the band, the concert, the orchestra, because not only are we hearing the sound directly from us as if they were playing outside, but we're also hearing the reflections from the sides, from above, from behind us.
The design team tells us the McKnight Center Hall can compete with the quality of any performance space you'd find in New York City.
Well, this is just such a fun night. You can feel the excitement in this grand atrium. And I am speaking now with someone who was actually a big part of making this happen. This is Anne-Marie McDermott, and she is a concert pianist, also very involved in Bravo Vale, which is kind of how Ross and Billie got involved.
Exactly. So Ross and Billie came to the Bravo Vale Festival and heard the New York Philharmonic, I think it was about 5 years ago, and just felt the exhilaration of hearing this incredible orchestra and got inspired to want to create this. But I mean, this is just unfathomable to me. I can't believe I'm standing here now. I've been involved since the very beginning, and it's extraordinary.
And you've played in amazing halls. So how does this compare to some of the best in the world?
I think this is now one of the best in the world. It's an extraordinary hall, and also there's a smaller recital hall. And I have the great fortune of coming back next month and with the McKnight Chamber Music Festival, which I started, when was it, 2 years ago, coming here, and for the first 2 years we were playing on campus, and then now in early November we'll be on the main stage here at the McKnight Center, so I cannot wait.
And when was your first time in Stillwater? What do you think of the Stillwater community?
The people are just incredible, and to me that's the heart and soul of any community, are the people. And what I found when I first came was there is a tremendous love and curiosity about classical music. And you never know until you come into the community. And I was asked to come and bring chamber music into the community. And the reception and the love that I've gotten back is memorable to me. And so I feel like I'm a member of this community now with the support, encouragement, and love that I've gotten from everybody.
Well, we are so glad that you're here and so thankful for the role that you've played, and what an awesome thing it is to have someone so talented here and supporting the McKnight Center. We appreciate you.
Special treat tonight is I'm here just attending, but my sister plays with the New York Philharmonic. So I'll be in the audience waving to my sister.
Okay, what instrument does she play so we can keep it?
She's in the first violin section. She looks just like me, except with long hair.
We will look for an Anne-Marie twin in the audience. Okay. Thank you so much. We've got lots going on here tonight. So we are now going to take a look at some of the programming that's coming up. As Anne-Marie said, she'll be back with the Chamber Music Festival next month. We also will have Jonathan Biss here, the Phantom of the Opera silent film with an organ performance. We'll have Cirque Mechanics and even Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for the whole family. Then we also have 1964, the tribute. We have the Buddy Holly story, An American in Paris, the Academy of St. Martin, The Fields with Joshua Bell, and then, of course, including Oklahoma State's own Sarah Coburn here in concert. So that's just naming a few. In total, there are 27 individual concerts coming here to the McKnight Center within the next year. We're going to send you to commercial break. We are here at the McKnight Center Opening Gala, an orange carpet affair. Next up, we will hear from the people that made this happen, Ross and Billie McKnight, as well as some of our patron donors who gave so generously to this cause.
I can't think of a better place to go for a more dedicated group of people who are invested in our students achieving their goals. Whether it's become a doctor or hospital administrator or a researcher, I really enjoy knowing that what we do and the programs that we put in place change the lives of other people.
For almost 70 years, the Oklahoma State University Student Union has served as the gathering place for students, alumni, faculty, staff, and other guests. During the year, more than 1 million visitors enter the union's doors and utilize its services. Maybe it's all of the retail spaces that provide an opportunity to purchase the trendiest OSU apparel or latest technology products, or it's the variety of banking services and hair salons. It could be the 10 dining options available as well, or the multitude of student services housed within it. It's possibly the opportunity for students to get involved in activities outside of the classroom through the Department of Leadership and Campus Life, which houses more than 500 student organizations. Let's not forget about the opportunity for people to connect through the variety of lounge spaces and meeting rooms available throughout the building. Though its furnishings have changed in its almost 70 years and has seen numerous additions and renovations, one thing has remained constant: the vital role the union plays in the OSU student experience. Come and explore with us the many things the Student Union has to offer and learn why life happens at the union.
All right, well, our next guests need no introduction. I am here with President Burns Hargis and the first cowgirl, Ann Hargis, but your dress might need an introduction. This is amazing. So tell me, what are... Burns is noticing it for the first time.
First of all, I love to say I'm upcycling an old dress. So I took a perfectly plain dress and had a wonderful friend in Tulsa embellish it. So this is the alma mater, which I thought was very appropriate for tonight.
So the actual notes are the alma mater. Wow, I love that. Now, what about you, Burns? What are you wearing?
The actual notes to the alma mater. Who knows what this plays? I ought to play it one of these days.
That's great, though. I still love it. So tell me how it feels. We're here. This is finally a reality thanks to y'all's vision and so many people that pitched in.
Well, we have so much to say about this. We're just totally overwhelmed. Overwhelmed by the building, overwhelmed by the talent, overwhelmed by the people supporting it. There's a lot of culture.
And they're telling me they're actually seeing video of Ross and Billie walking in right now. What is your message to them?
Well, it is just a incredible moment for OSU, and I think it's actually going to transform how we think of ourselves and the education that all of our students and the faculty and our community are going to have.
What about the New York Phil? How do you feel about hearing them? I got to hear a little bit of rehearsal.
You did hear the rehearsal. Well, I was texting to someone who was in the rehearsal, and she said, "You will not believe what's going to happen." Yeah, we heard the students play, and I think there were maybe 25 students a week or two ago, and it was the most magnificent performance. And as Burns said, there were 25 students playing. There's over 100 in the New York Philharmonic, so I cannot even imagine what it's going to sound like. It's going to be great.
And speaking of the students, are some of them here tonight, and what does this look like to them moving forward?
Well, to be around musicians of this quality, I mean, the greatest musicians on the planet, is an incredible opportunity for any college student. But for it to happen right here at home, it's just amazing. And I will say about the New York Philharmonic, they had a horrible time getting here. They were like 3 hours late. And we had a dinner for them right in this hall last night. And they came in and they were kind of bedraggled, but we all welcomed them with just open arms. And they just turned around. They just love it here. They love all the hospitality and just the cowboy ethic. And so it's really been a fun thing. And I even had the director say that we want to do this on a regular basis.
I love that. I think we would all have them back. Everyone is so excited. Thank you all so much for your vision and for talking with us tonight. And we're just excited to be here. So.
Julia taught me how to text when she was 8 years old, I think.
That's true. I did teach him how to text. That is my claim to fame, for sure. You all have fun. So now we're going to send it to someone else that made this possible. This is Ross and Billie McKnight. They are the namesake of this building, and their generous donation made it possible not only to get the building, but to bring the New York Philharmonic as well. So let's hear from them.
So we have a president who has a passion for the arts. We have a major donor who has a passion for the arts. And so the timing was just perfect. Toward the end of Branding Success, Ross and Billie McKnight had been the co-chairs of that campaign, which ended up being successful beyond anything we could have imagined. And Ross and Billie and Burns and Ann were having dinner. And so they were talking, and the idea of a performing arts theater came up. And so there was this kind of immediate connection between the four of them on this idea. And they both left and were excited about the conversation. And that really was the genesis of the OSU Performing Arts Center, later to be known as the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts.
Tell me about the arts in your lives growing up. Why are the arts important?
Well, I started, of course, girls take piano. Then I was in the band, and so we played a lot of classical music, a lot of classical pieces. And so my background was just growing up in a high school, in Oklahoma, and then knowing the composers and enjoying the music. Ross is a little different. He didn't play an instrument.
No, I can't read music. Okay. My first influence in musical was real simple. We were guests of a pretty good New York Yankee baseball player. In 1957, the Yankees were playing the Milwaukee Braves in the World Series, and this guy, that we were his guest, it was very intriguing. We went to New York, and as his guest, and when we got there after the games, and he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, our dad said we'd love to go to Broadway play. Never been to one, So we went to see My Fair Lady. And from the overture on, I had nothing but chills. And so while I was there in New York, I fell in love with Broadway, and I fell in love with music, and I was the guest of Oklahoma Mickey Mantle. That's when I fell in love with music.
And you all had this idea to do a $25 million matching endowment for programming. Why was it important to specifically bring in programming, these world-class acts, to Stillwater?
Well, if you have a building, you have to put something in it. And if you put all your money in the building, then you don't have anything left over to bring the first-class, performances that you want. And so we were involved in Bravo Vale, which a musical in the summertime. And we learned what was important was the performances. And so we knew, after we got Burns on board, we knew that the performances is what we wanted to endow.
And what are you most looking forward to?
Oh, the variety, all of it. I like all of it, and that it's going to be a very varied and diverse acts and different performances.
And with that, we're starting with the New York Philharmonic. I know you were a big part of getting them here, and you actually serve on the board of directors for the New York Phil. How did that connection come about?
Classic to me, was Conway Twitty and George Jones. So classical music was that. And so when I went at Helen Hodges, another one of our patrons, when Billie and I went at Helen's invitation to see the New York Philharmonic, it was 5 years ago, there in Bravo, in Vale, and we were her guest. I got chills up my spine when they played the Star Spangled Banner. And you young people get chills up your spine a lot. Us old people, we don't, that doesn't happen too often. And when it does, you would like to replicate it. The McKnight Center, the performances at the McKnight Center all came about because of relationships.
And speaking of relationships, we've been speaking with some of the other patron donors, and every one of them has mentioned that you all were such a big part of why they signed on. What does that mean to have inspired that?
Oh, it's fun. It's just a lot of fun. It's friendships. We get together and have a talk and visit and go back to our history 50 years ago when we were all here at the university, and that makes it a lot of fun.
As the students come in and they're impacted, by the McKnight Center, by the legacy you're leaving, what is your message to them? What do you hope they take away from this?
Oh, I hope it just rounds out their education here at Oklahoma State University. They have the academics, we have the athletics, spiritual for growth, and music, which rounds out. Music can change the world because music changes people. And so that's what I hope that makes the impact, that it just rounds out their education.
Very, very well put. I think that's, it's just fantastic. The only other thing I would say is I hope that they pass it on.
Well, this is fun. So we just watched we talked about, a week ago when we sat down, and now we are here in the moment in the McKnight Center. How does it feel, Ross?
Well, it really feels fantastic. There's so many people, and it is hard for me to fathom. And we listened to the rehearsals today and had the press conference, and it is so exciting to have what I feel is the greatest orchestra in the country to open the McKnight Center.
How does it feel to know that everyone is so excited and that you played such a monumental role in this?
I've always said that the nation is run by business, and finance, and technology, and mathematics, but the reason that we want to be in the world is because of the humanities and the arts, and that's what we want to do at Oklahoma State University and the state of Oklahoma, is let us enjoy the humanities and the arts.
Well, thank you for being such a leader for us when you were here in college as SGA president, now bringing it back home and giving back to this university. I hope you enjoy the night because you deserve it. Thank you, Ross. And now we're going to hear from a few of our patron donors who all jumped in to help the McKnight's vision of programming for the arts here at the McKnight Center.
I bought tickets for Ross and Billie to Bravo Vale. I happened to be standing there in 2015 when Ross, as per usual, is figuring out everything about how things work. I was just standing next to Ross when he had this idea, and about programming, a programming endowment, which is so different from anything else that's been done.
They really stepped forward big.
Ross and Billie have shown us the finest things in life, and I really think that now they brought the finest things in life to Oklahoma State and to the state of Oklahoma. What more could you ask?
They're not going to do anything that's not going to be spectacular, so we're quite sure that the level at all types of performances are going to be as good as you can see anywhere.
I was very heavily involved with music in high school and had considered actually going to another university because a lot of the collegiate musicians that were all-staters with me went other places. But I got a phone call from the then marching band director, Rich Kassendick, and asked me to consider to be the OSU drum major my freshman year. So, when you're 17 years old, that's pretty impressive to think I could conduct a 300-piece marching band at the college game day. So I did come to OSU and I sang in the chorale, played in the wind ensemble, my trombone, and I marched on the field with the marching band.
I had 4 hours of art in my freshman year and got 4 hours of D. So I recognized I didn't have that creative skill, but I always appreciated people that did.
While we grew up on a ranch, we've come to conclude later in life that the role of the arts is critical for education and society. The arts are something that we can live with for our entire life and can participate in observe in a way that causes us to dream, to think, to communicate with each other, to break down barriers.
I've always tried to take what resources I had and make the maximum impact with it. And I can't think of anything that would contribute more to that than a transforming facility like the McKnight Center.
I think the kids program is great, that they're going to bring all of the public school kids in for one performance a year, as I understand it. And that, what an exposure. I mean, starting from kindergarten on up.
When two people come together, both are changed, either for the better or the worse, but there's really no net neutral experience when you interact with somebody. And so when the students get to interact with the professional musicians, the students are transformed. But there's no doubt that the musicians who come in are going to be changed by their experience. They'll say, this is an incredible community, what a gem you have.
We all enjoy getting together on Saturdays for football games at Benbrook Stadium. We enjoy getting together for basketball games at Gallagher-Iba. This is another place for us to get together and enjoy music and other performances. It's just a new dimension for us here at OSU.
I'm excited to see that the students are excited. They are going to be the first to take advantage of it, and who knows where their influence will go after they leave here. So it's just an incredible opportunity for them. So I would just say you all go after your dream.
And we spoke with some of the patron donors, of course, but the founding donors are on your screen now, and they gave to the building as well. Also an important investment in this building. And again, you heard from some of the patron donors. There are many that contributed to the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts. So we are back live again here in the Marilyn and Carl Toma Grand Atrium, and I am here with Miss America, Jane Giroux. So she is a Laverne native and Oklahoman and one of my all-time favorite Miss Americas. So how does it feel to be here and see this investment in Oklahoma?
This is so fabulous, you know, and it's so wonderful, not only for Stillwater, but all of Western Oklahoma and all of Oklahoma. Really, it's just a jewel, a gem of musical opportunity for all Oklahomans, and what an amazing gift.
I agree. And now you grew up in a small town. You grew up in Laverne, Oklahoma, and had big dreams that you went on to achieve. Now, what does this mean for kids like you that now have this school?
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, to think, growing up in Laverne, that you would have the chance to come hear the New York City Philharmonic, and someone as accomplished as Kelly O'Hara, who also grew up in Western Oklahoma before she moved to Deer Creek. But to think that you'd have those kind of opportunities, I think it just really adds to the quality of life for everyone.
I agree. Now, what are you most looking forward to tonight?
Well, I have to say that I think Kelly O'Hara is the best voice going in not only in Oklahoma, but in the world maybe. And so I just am so looking forward to being in this facility with the sound that they're able to produce in this auditorium, and to hear not only the New York City Philharmonic, but be able to hear one of our own who has reached just the pinnacle of success in the musical world, Kelly O'Hara.
I could not agree more. It's going to be such a fun night. Thank you so much for talking with us. Like I said, she's always one of my favorite Miss Americas, so I appreciate it. All right, and next up, we're going to send it to commercial, but we will be back soon to talk about the impact of this center, not only on Stillwater and the state of Oklahoma, but also on the nation, how we are going to have that impact on students all over.
The College of Arts and Sciences is
learning about different cultures and different backgrounds.
Professors that really want you to succeed.
Absolutely fantastic. Top-notch.
Passionate. A lot of opportunities.
Fascinating. Thinking creatively. Rewarding. A collaborative experience.
Meaningful research.
Using your imagination.
In depth.
A connector.
Storytelling. All around just fun.
Good evening and welcome back to an Orange Carpet Affair. I'm here now with Dr. Casey Schrum. She is the president of OSU CHS. And so we would like to hear kind of your perspective coming from one of our other campuses, what you think of this event tonight.
Oh, it's so very exciting. I mean, I actually have 3 children who are on campus here as students, so I get to visit a lot, but it is such an exciting event, just bringing a vibrant feel. The Stillwater campus is such an inviting and invigorating environment anyway, and to bring the arts here in such a big way is such a tremendous asset to Oklahoma State University.
I agree. And I've got to brag on Dr. Shrum for a minute. You were just named the Woman of the Year by the Journal Record. Tell us about that award and what that means. We're very proud of you here.
Well, so I was last night learned that I had won the Women of the Year award, and it was so exciting. It is just a tremendous honor. I have loved serving as the president of the OSU Center for Health Sciences, and I believe, that's really just an extension. This award is really an extension of OSU's land grant mission and the way that we carry it out in making a difference in the lives of Oklahomans and improving health. And so very proud and humbled to have received that honor.
Well, we are very proud of you too, here in Stillwater as well, and all that you're doing at OSU CHS. So thank you so much for taking time. I hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you, Dr. Shrum. We now want to talk about the students and the impact that these programs are having on the students. So take a look.
Our message right now in the School of Music is we want our students to have an appreciating degree. So in other words, we want the OSU degree and the OSU brand to mean more 10 years from now than it does now. And that will matter for our students, both past and our coming graduates.
I want to write a lot of music and play a lot of music and teach music. That's the ultimate goal, is in some capacity, I want to teach and play music professionally. We don't do it for the money. We don't do it for the easy schedule, certainly. We do it because there's this thing in us that tells us that we should do music. It's very innate to what we do. There's a certain way that music is infinitely refinable, this bottomless thing that you can go forever and ever and never be completely done with it. And it's so fulfilling to reach new levels of music.
Well, I would say OSU has given me a lot of opportunities in performing and learning and just collaborating with other people that are just as passionate as I am. I come from a high school that has a very poor culture, and some of that bleeds over into the band program there, and because of the poor culture, it's discouraging. So coming here to OSU and being around a lot of people that are as passionate as I am about music, it's very encouraging. I think OSU has given me a home, and I really find comfort in that.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty quiet and reserved person until you put a trumpet in my hand. So for me, music is a way to reach out to people and communicate maybe some of the deeper things that I might not be comfortable saying, but I can put into my music. I know everyone at the School of Music is super excited in the McKnight Center. And also just the level of musicians that the McKnight Center is bringing in, like this partnership with the New York Philharmonic and all these other guest artists. They're just so amazing as musicians, and students at schools in New York or Boston, they can go hear the New York Phil or the Boston Symphony or other guest artists in those big cities. But in Oklahoma, we're a lot more isolated. We don't have as many of those opportunities. So for the McKnight Center to be bringing those people here to us is just really amazing.
I just want to say how genuinely grateful my faculty and staff and students are for the investments in our program. We can't thank the McKnight family enough. And of course, Michael and Greenwood are so dear to our hearts. The university leadership does everything possible to invest in all of the programs. And seeing that investment really inspires all of us to achieve at the level that we're poised to do now because of their investments.
I am now here with someone who was heavily involved in the student involvement part of this. This is Representative Trish Ranson. She not only is a representative now on the Oklahoma level, but she also was a music teacher. So tell me about how you fit into this equation.
Well, I was a music teacher at Westwood Elementary before I became legislator, and I knew all of the people at OSU in the music department and helped to just kind of put pieces together, the people at OSU and the people at New York Phil, and we had some amazing master classes starting today, and we have more coming up on Saturday and Sunday.
Now, did you get to set in on any today? What was that feel like?
Oh my goodness, yes. I sat in on several today, and there were multiple chill moments, especially with Kelly O'Hara, she's working with our vocalists, and there were moments where I was like, I would pay money to see that person perform on stage. It was phenomenal. We have a lot of talent here at OSU.
And it's so fun to think that we have it right here. You know, sometimes you look, oh, we need to go to New York City or we need to do this. Now we have the building, we have the students and the talent. So that's amazing. Tell me what you're looking forward to tonight.
Well, I am looking forward to actually hearing the New York Phil for the first time. I've lived across the country and I've lived in Connecticut where I went to New York all the time, but I never got a chance to see the New York Philharmonic. So here we get to, right here in Stillwater. What a pleasure.
It is going to be so fun. Thank you for your time and thank you for all that you do for OSU and for the students here at Progress. So that is a perfect segue in because we actually went to Westwood Elementary, visited the 5th graders as they got their recorders. Now there's a special programming partnership where each kid 1st through 12th grade, I believe, will get to come here to the McKnight Center and be involved in some sort of a program. Check out their excitement when they get those instruments.
There's studies that go, kids who are involved in musical experiences in the arts perform better in their core subjects. We also believe it gives them help with understanding them as an individual. So from an emotional standpoint, it also helps with their creativity. Just several things that are beyond the classroom that will help them as an individual.
So this year we're implementing a new curriculum called Link Up, and all the elementary music teachers are teaching our students music to be performed with a live orchestra at the McKnight Center in February.
We have 4 songs that we're going to perform with the orchestra. We're learning more dance moves, and we're learning how to play instruments.
They will get to be in the audience and get to watch the performance and see a live orchestra, some of them for the first time, but then even better, they get to be a part of the performance by singing along or playing their recorder.
So we've teamed up with a local business here, and they are purchasing on an annual basis recorders, and these will be given to them for them practice in this program, and at the end of it they will be able to take these recorders home.
It just feels good because you have one that you can keep forever and that you can practice and play all by yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm listening. Oh yeah, can you hear me calling? Oh yeah, we are calling to you.
Mrs. Sanders is my favorite part about music because she's super nice.
Well, if that last line doesn't melt your heart, I don't know what will. Those kids were so excited, and that's one of my favorite parts of the McKnight Center is that involvement. I'm now here with one of our celebrity attendees, head coach of the OSU men's basketball team, Mike Boynton. Tell me, you are a New York guy. You're from Brooklyn. So what does it mean to have the New York Phil here in Stillwater?
Oh, it's awesome. I've never got the pleasure of actually seeing them perform, but I've heard great things about them growing up. Obviously, growing up in New York City, the arts are wildly popular, something I grew to love and appreciate, and I'm so glad that Stillwater's getting to experience this with this beautiful facility, and the support at this event has been unbelievable.
That's awesome, and neat that you have an interest in both the arts and sports. And tell me about basketball coming up. What do we have to look forward to?
Should be a lot of fun. We got a lot of new faces, but really, really talented. We have some experience now with some of our seniors, guys who've been through the battles in the Big 12 before. So we're really, really excited about what's to come in the next couple of weeks as the season gets going.
We were talking with one of our patron donors, and they said what's neat about the McKnight Center is we already get together in Boone Pickens, we already get together in Gallagher-Iba, and now we get together here. So what is it like to see everybody kind of coming together and all of these different faces out tonight?
It's amazing. It shows that the growth potential of Stillwater. Obviously, we get together for football and sporting events on campus all the time, but just the impact that this facility can have in terms of bringing attention and great performances to this town for our college kids, for our community, I think it's going to have a lasting impact for a really, really long time.
Well, awesome. We're so glad you're here. Thanks for all that you do for our sports side of things and also to be here and to support. We really appreciate that tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So we're going to be back soon with more of the McKnight Center Opening Gala, an orange carpet affair. You can still feel the excitement in the air here. The bell has already gone off, but everyone is still mingling and excited to be here. Now, let's look at what tonight is about. The New York Philharmonic, they are here and they're excited to be in Stillwater. In fact, they even met some of the Stillwater natives this week and have said that they feel very welcomed. So let's take a look at their time in Oklahoma.
The New York Philharmonic is 178 years old. It embodies really the history of music in America and of classical music. It's remarkable in that it has been so long-lived. It's as old as some of the oldest orchestras in the world. Another interesting aspect of the orchestra is that in many ways it traces the history of immigration to our country. And as New York is a sort of focal point for people who come from around the world to be welcomed in and to find a new home, whether it's just to have a better life or escaping tyranny. Our first musicians were Germans. They worked in a volunteer fire department because they had to volunteer. There weren't regular fire departments, so for fun, they would get together and play in a little orchestra. And then the orchestra needed more wind players, and there was an Italian neighborhood 10 blocks away. They invited the Italians to come in. And it went on and on like that. And you can see, you know, the different groups of history when Irish people came to the United States and to the orchestra. World War II, the Holocaust, the immigration of the Russian Jews, many Asians now who have come. And our country is about immigration and the vibrancy that this brings to, you know, this beautiful concept of democracy.
Well, you know, music to me is such an amazing language. It's something that, you know, there are not many forms of communication where you can try to share a wide range of emotions with hundreds or thousands of people that you've never met before. Teaching is a true love for me, and in my case, for example, if I didn't meet a certain teacher that inspired me to keep pursuing music when I was younger, I'm pretty sure I would have chosen another path in a way. And so, you know, having that, for me, it's not about necessarily the technical aspect of playing an instrument, although there are a lot of things to talk about, but it's really to kind of get students to understand how amazing music can be.
I can't tell you how welcome everybody and welcoming everybody has been. Our plane was delayed by 4 hours yesterday. We got here and we were having a bite to eat afterwards. And so we asked our waitress if she would teach us the OSU fight song. So we had a great time in the restaurant singing and clapping. And so she was singing for the music director of the New York Philharmonic. What really impressed me was walking into this absolutely state-of-the-art, beautiful facility. It still smells new, which we love. And the orchestra turned to me and they said, "We'd like a hall like this."
Well, speaking of the New York Philharmonic, it is almost that time. I've got my ticket and my date, and we're gonna head in there. Thank you guys for watching the McKnight Center Gala and Orange Carpet Affair.